Wait for people to come in and join us. The message is on. I think I can run the comments overlay as well if I need to. So let's just. But anyways, everybody had a good week.
So far, so good.
Yeah,
pretty good. Put a few more Christmas lights up,
if Marcus and Andy, you haven't seen Dave's front garden, Dave is one of those that's got the whole of his front plastered with Christmas lights, and they are on already.
Oh, wow.
There's nothing green, though. I need something green.
Yeah, well, are we... No, do they sell any Argyle Christmas toys or anything? No, so no viewers yet, so as we just settle in.
I'm just sending out...
We got someone that's joined us. Richard Francis is in the house. Evening,
Richard Francis is in the house. Welcome, Richard.
There we go. There's his comment. There he is on his YouTube account. Share it if you can, Rich, as we settle into this new setup and format. So, but always good to see you come in. Right. Are you looking forward to the game on Friday then, Richard, after this international break? Put it in your comments. Put it in the
Mike,
comments.
have we got a link that we can send out to WhatsApp and stuff?
It's a good point. The link I've sent you would bring people in, so don't share that. I'd imagine it would just be what's on the channel. So you'd have to almost go into one of the platforms and go live. We'll have to suss that bit out a bit later, I think.
Okay. It is good to see you, Richard. I shall look forward to seeing you on Friday night with the program selling, of course.
Yeah. As always.
We're going to just stall for chat just so we can see. I know we don't know what to expect straight away. Oh, we got 2 people in now, so that's good. Yeah, we'll just let it build for a couple of minutes before we get the show on the road, as they say. So
what's this doing?
Oh, even though it's been a nice international break, parts of it have just flown by, in my opinion.
No, it certainly has, yeah.
We got 3 in, so that's good. So those that have just joined us, we are just going to kill some time while we wait for a few more people to come in as we're just settling down into our new format. But welcome to the show. So we have Dave, Marcus, and Andy.
Hello.
So, yeah, Rich has just shared it, so that's cool. Thanks for that, Rich.
Yeah, thanks for the share, Rich. This is a bit different, isn't it? It's a bit different to what
actually,
stuff.
To be fair, Andy, when I was telling Dave about the HP source that time when we went live, and it was like, Andy, where are you? Andy, where are you? And
yes.
and sort of going straight in, and then it zoomed up to like 200, 300. Eventually, we had about 800 on that show. But I was like 10 minutes of it going, I've got to do. I hope I don't have to do all this on my own. And eventually, Andy got in, but it was just like, oh, thank God for that.
Yeah, got there in the end.
Yeah, this is what they say. You should test things first, but no, come on, let's just dive straight in, and we'll see how we get on. Oh, we just lost one, so I think we'll probably almost with this one. I think get going, and then we'll just see. I mean, we're only 1 minute past 7, so we are early. We'll give it a couple more minutes before we kickstart it. Dave, did you listen to the presser today?
The presser?
Yeah, press conference.
Not really.
Yeah, I did.
No? Yeah, you right. Good, Marcus. So I can come to you for a bit more of the detail on that then.
I know Gibson's back, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah,
and
due.
Another couple of weeks Galloway.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
So, a couple more jumped in. So, evening, guys. We're just giving it a couple of minutes while we just let the show build. So, but welcome anyway. Put your comments in the chat, whatever platform you are on. So, as we know, we have got Richard in the house. There we go. I do like the way that these platforms work, and it's still, even though I've sort of been around technology for a long time, it still impresses me that doing all this through a web browser.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Absolutely crazy. So, got a fairly empty room going on behind me here, Andy. So
it looks clean, Mike. Have you been hoovering by any chance?
It's yeah, no. Well, I've been getting rid of some kids' toys, rearranged the hi-fi so it's on that wall again.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to pick like a breakfast bar, I think, eventually, once we get out of Christmas, and then sort of that'll fill the room up. But the dining table used to be in here, but it's now in the lounge. So so this will be a bit more of a man cave, chill out area with the kitchens there. So all good. Ben Collins, good to see you on here. Someone that obviously follows us on the TikTok channel. There we go. No, we're not on TikTok tonight because we've always wanted to bring a bit more content, and I've got some stuff to do to show you where we want to make it more engaging. And TikTok, it's harder to do that, but also we don't get stream keys. They're even more harder to get hold of. So we would love, and I've tried to push them for it, to get a stream key to add TikTok to the Facebook and YouTube, but yeah, they want you to commit to a lot of hours, whereas we're like, do you know what? Well, then we'll use the other platforms. I will still personally go on there. Andy will still do his shows and stuff on there, but yeah, for the pod, we want to explore some other channels. But I appreciate you coming on to here. But yeah, we're just killing a bit of time, but we are we'll wait until 5 past, and then we'll start getting the show properly on the road, and then as people come in and build up, we'll take that. But yeah, no, what day are we on? It's Wednesday, isn't it? So it's
Right.
hump day.
I'm just looking on Facebook as well. We're all going live on Facebook. It's brilliant. It's good stuff, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah,
this format.
I've got my iPad here, to be fair. I could probably, let me just turn the volume down so I don't get any feedback. Oh yeah, I can see that. Everybody gets to see my ugly mug in big view for the minute. So that's always good.
You could have picked your socks off the floor, mate, in the background.
Yeah, well, I had some tea towels hanging off the rad here, so I've just pulled them off earlier. I like the Argyle mugs, so we got Dave and Edward with theirs, and Andy with his. I've just got my, sorry Dave, Edward obviously might disagree, but this one says world's best dad. So I don't have an Argyle mug, but you never know, Santa Claus might bring me one, so that's good. Right. So I think we will start the show, and then we'll just let everything pan out as it does. So welcome to those that are joining us at the moment, and to all those that join us a little bit later on or watch this back. So you are watching the Block 9 podcast, and we are bringing this to you now from TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. Originally TikTok, but we wanted to take this and expand what we do. We've enjoyed what we've done. We've done quite a few episodes with this on TikTok, and it's all about engaging more audiences, and that platform hasn't been brilliant at that recently because of changes that it makes. So we're on YouTube and we're on Facebook Live as we speak, and we welcome everybody that's joined us tonight. So on the sofa, so to speak, we have in the top right hand corner there on your screens is the Evans boys. So we have Dave and Edward who pop in, there we go, and join us on some of our TikToks. We have in the middle there Marcus, who looks very chilled out on his chair there, also a big long-term member of the podcast with us on TikTok. That's yeah. And then we also have Andy, also known as a Grumpy Loyal on TikTok, who started this pod off with myself and Carl Bernard, who is working late shifts tonight, so unfortunately can't be with us.
So far so good.
Yeah, so good. So look, we're gonna bring you a few points tonight. I'm gonna bring up some content in a minute, which hopefully you'll see. We're going to aim to bring a little bit of a different twist on this show as to what you're used to with others. We're not trying to copy. We don't want to try and compete. We are going to make sure that we try and schedule this around, other shows such as Argyle Live, because we don't want to clash. There's no point in that, and because we won't stand up against those boys right now, because they are very good at what they do. So hopefully you enjoy what we bring you tonight. And so without further ado, I'm going to pull up our presentation. But no, we've got a few slides that we want to go through and talk about, tell you what we're going to discuss tonight, and some sort of interactive content rather than just seeing us all talking at your screens as well. So we are going to start off with, if I just skip to the next one. So the view from the block, yes, we sit up, sort of just above the P is Block 9, where Andy and myself sit right at the back, bar one row. And so been there long time. Andy, how long have you been in that Block 9 section yourself?
I get a feeling it's my 5th season though, Mike. I moved down from Block 13 initially, which was the other side of the Lyndhurst on the 18-yard line. So I moved to the Denport end side of the. See more goals at the Denport end. So yeah, about 5 years, mate, I would say.
Yeah. And I was in the block over in Block 10 for a period, going just to, I think, post-administration, and then I had to take a year out, and then I came back and ended up moving to Block 9. Which I enjoy. I find it's a great angle. Dave, Edward, you guys sit in the Devonport, don't you? What block and whereabouts in the Devonport?
Block 5, and it's just on S.
Yeah, and you guys are also known for those that are with us now and that come in later onto these shows. Might recognise you. So you guys also have your own YouTube channel, don't you? So do you want to just give a little plug about what that channel's called and what it is you do with Edward on that?
Edward?
So our channel is called the Evans Boys, and we film videos about Argyle, and it's all about Argyle and Rick. We video the home match day every they play at home.
Yeah, and we like to always get the goals in.
That's so because it's a vlog that you do, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
match day vlog of the highlights, family zone from the start to the finish of the game, and hopefully we win. But if we have a lose, we still have a good blog and we still upload it onto YouTube.
Yeah, excellent. And I think, look, there's a few people that sort of do the old, and I can see Connor's joined us on YouTube. So evening, Connor, that do the vlogs, and we have Harvey England, who sort of, bless him, also has difficult shifts to work because we all have jobs to do, and he equally does the same. And I think what we want to do is we want to bring some of those clips as well that Dave and Edward take, and even Harvey as well, where it's different angles in the ground that we can also bring in and play and show you on here. So that's where we want to make it a bit more engaging and interactive in that sense. We'll soon see how it pans out later on. But anyway, so tonight's topics are, so the season so far, home and away forms, and we'll look at the home form table, we'll look at the away form table, discuss that. Obviously there's a big question mark over the away form, as we all know, certainly from that last block of games. Thoughts on Rooney's tenure so far. So we'll give you each of our views on what we think on that and how he's doing. The festive schedule that's coming up. So the next set of games that we've got, it's 10 games, and it's going to be right up to New Year, that is, and it's going to be pretty frantic. So a really big opportunity to make a statement and cement a strong position in the league. The injured players updates on that. There was a press conference today, so we'll touch upon that. Youth players, we talked about it a lot. Others talk about it a lot. So, what's happening now, and what do we think Rooney should do with some of those players? Got a couple of sort of player profiles we can discuss as well. Watford preview on Friday. Obviously, that kicks off on Sky, and also that documentary. It's worth a mention, isn't it? So, without further ado, we shall jump straight into the season so far. Now, I appreciate this is quite small, and I will probably summarize it a bit better, but I can talk you through it, and then I'll come to Andy for some initial thoughts. But for me personally, the season so far, I think, has been an interesting mix. Rooney coming in, all the fanfare around that, the horrendous start to the season with the Sheffield Wednesday game where we obviously got beat quite heavily, not the start everybody was expecting at all. And then we came on to getting back into the games and sort of improving. Got some massive big wins, at home as well against some top clubs like, Sunderland. And it's one of those where I think if you look at the changes that have gone on and Rooney settling in and all the sort of question marks that came over with him, like why have we signed him? I think, do you know what? We're in 18th place, but that last section from that international break, that run of games where we had some massive big away defeats, really rocked the sort of squad, rocked the fans, and it unsettled things. Question marks started coming up. But I think, Andy, in fairness, are Argyle fans expecting too much? Are we about where we probably realistically are?
Yeah, I think realistically, 18th is a fair assumption because we've Rooney's had a fresh start, and we'll come to that later on probably in the season so far. But he's had a tough start, and that last sort of 5 games we played Cardiff straight after the international break, I think, and we lost that heavily 5-1. And then in between that, there's that Leeds game, isn't it? So you got the 2 draws there, which was good. But that win against Portsmouth was vital. That to sort of stay away from that chasing pack, if you like. So it's not been brilliant, but given that Rooney's just he's got a fresh slate with a new club, he's brought players in that he feels can do the job. They've got to sort of gel and got to get used to the pace of this game, because some of the players we brought in aren't used to the pace of this game. You can argue that with Sissoko, but I don't think El Haj or Poulsen fall into that category. But all in all, I think generally he's we're doing okay. It could be a lot worse. We could have lost that game.
Well, it could be bottom.
we could be bottom. We could have lost that game against Portsmouth and got a point there and be down at the bottom. So small mercies, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And notwithstanding, sort of Marcus, come to you next. We've had, some big injuries, haven't we? In over that sort of last spell, early on that last spell, obviously, and also with Edwards, also Gibson going out, who's quite a, sort of both those two really are key with taking the ball from the back, and then obviously Sissoko getting that red card straight away at Leeds, and then pitting him out, and then just as soon as we thought he was coming back, and then he's injured until January, like Edwards. So that definitely unsettled the squad. We had to mix things up, so that didn't help, did it? So, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think we've done all right, actually, because for the squad we've got, not many of them are championship quality, and the ones that were championship quality seem to be getting injured.
Yeah.
You got Gibbo's championship, you got Sissoko, you got Edwards. That's 3 of probably your best 5 players.
Yeah.
So, it's same as last season. We seem to struggle away, and our home form's saving us, but I'm pretty confident Rooney can turn that around.
Yeah, I think so. I think if we just, there's a few players that have had to come into the squad, haven't they, Marcus? Like Sorinola, is one example of that. Pleguezuelo, both really, sort of outside of the squad selection, even on the bench a lot of the time. And we said this on our last show. They've really come in and stepped up, and both of them have made it a difficult decision for Rooney. But it's good that they are giving him options.
That's what you need, because Plague's giving Rooney a right headache. But unless you play Plague as a right back, which he can play, he's either going to be dropped. So I can't see him leading Gibbo out.
Yeah, he's almost.
I would say it's between him and Souks.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, that, isn't it? So Dave, sort of coming to you and Edwards. It's good that some players have stepped up. We said this, didn't we, on our last show? That those two have definitely sort of given Rooney some food for thought. But does Gibson come straight, if he's 100% fit, Dave? Does he come straight back in because him and Souks have worked so well together. Gibson's been fantastic. Souks has been a fantastic signing this season. So does he just come straight back in because that attacking play from the back is crucial with him?
Yes, I do. I think we need 3 points on Friday night, and he needs to come straight in. We need to get 3 points.
Yeah. So at your assessment of how you think we've done so far, then, for the season, do you take that as good, bad, or ugly?
I think, to be fair, we've done okay. When obviously we had the news Rooney was coming to Plymouth, I thought, okay, give him a chance. But I actually think he's done really well. I think some people are expecting too much of a Plymouth Argyle at the moment, because I'm not being horrible, but we are a League One team playing in the Championship. I think we're fighting well. We need to win away, but what will be will be. But for me, with Rooney, he's got the smallest budget in the Championship. Any manager who came to Plymouth would struggle. Money is key, and not many players want to come to Plymouth. So we need to all get behind Rooney and support him and the team, the players, and let's stay in the Championship this season.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort of slightly correct you in that we're a Championship team, but with a League One squad of players. Is that a better way of putting it?
There you go.
Anybody who's in their league deserves to be in that league.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't take away from the fact that we know that some of the players, are not, as capable in this league, and I think we have done well. Has Edward gone to bed now, or is he still there?
He's done a bunk.
Is he done it? Is he? But is he happy with Rooney in the season so far?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves Rooney and all that, and down in the Devonport end. And like I've always taught Eddie, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, we get behind the badge, and that's what we've all got to do.
Yeah, I mean, sort of Richards also said with his views, I feel we improved more at home with Rooney. At times it's been amazing, and the injuries has affected us absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
He's also said he's concerned about the away record, as we'll come on to in a minute, and the goals. Sort of to only get 2 goals away. But to be fair, it was always going to be a challenge, and we can't seem to get this duck off our back at the moment. And even in Evans, Ivana, sorry, that seemed coming as well. And Eddie. Someone else has joined by the looks of it. That says the Evans boys in there. So
that's them on the tablet.
Yeah. Okay. So he's sneakily watching it in his bedroom, while he's meant to be asleep. Fair play, Edward. But yeah, the I think the key thing as well is, look, you've always got to get behind the squad and the players. It's an easy thing to say, but that definitely that spell with those last round of games, losing so heavily away, definitely affected us. You can see the formatting's gone a bit skew on that, but this is our home form. So, we're 18th overall in the league after those run of games, 15 games. But on home form, we sit up there in 10th, and everybody goes on about home form being critical. Yes, it is, but I think if we can sort of find that sort of edge in our away games to not lose but try and also get a point, get those draws, are really important. So Andy, sort of the home form, we've seen some amazing games, haven't we? And we've got rude time, as Richard called it, but that sort of last minute winners again, that we've seen. And it's we just want a game where we, like a bit like Portsmouth, where we controlled it really, and we don't want to be always leaving everything to late, do we?
Yeah, we want to start on the front foot really and get into these teams' faces, because they know that we're going to be, difficult to beat at home park. So why not make it difficult for them from the first whistle? It's why wait 60 minutes to get into a game and then pull 3 goals back. I mean that was brilliant that they did that against Preston. But the games like Luton, when we were under the lights against Luton that time, it was one of those games which just went for us. Everything went for us, didn't it?
Yeah.
We got to do that from the beginning though, and then bring the impact players on at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very much, again, you could sort of see some of the changes, in the recent games, with Xhaka coming in, and starting, and it's sort of not really settling into the game very well. I mean, he was crucial for one of the chances, sorry, with Preston, but it's just, he did look like, as we said before, a bit of a rabbit caught in headlights, it felt, and not sure where. And he was always looking like he was asking back to Mumba, where do you want me? Where do you want me? And we sort of pointed out that Mumba seemed to be sort of frustrated because he's like, you need to get over there. You need to. That's just how it looked from what we saw on the pitch. But yeah, it's definitely one of those where I think we don't want to be having to dig ourselves out a game. So I think if we can continue the form on to keep clean sheets and sort of try and sort of close off the game early would definitely help. I'm gonna sort of move on really straight off into the away form, because it's the one that's gonna bring up a lot of discussion, because we just can't seem to find that away win. The last away win was under Foster. Everybody's comparing, sort of the time of Schumacher and Rooney and all different things. Schumacher came up with a promotion, championship title winning squad, different momentums, different circumstances and situations. But Marcus, where are we going to find this first away win?
I think the way win, some of it is a bit misleading, because we should have had a goal, which he gave it as offside, but their player passed it back in the first 20 seconds against Millwall. So that could have been different for a start. Because Millwall wouldn't have a greater team than us. It was pretty much, it should have been a draw. So
yeah,
we improved well against Derby. So they're a hard team to beat at their grounds. So you got to have confidence that way win's going to come.
Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly one of those where which one's it going to come to? I was due to be going Bristol City as well, but it looks like we might not have secured the tickets. But we'll see. I've not done an away game since the last championship because of having kids. So I did the Torquay in pre-season and the Wembleys, but that's not quite the same. So I'm looking forward to that. Sort of Dave, it we sort of did well at Derby in the end. I think we could definitely see
Yeah.
the improvements in the squad there. It was good to get the point after going that goal down early on, which straight away
Yeah.
you're thinking, oh my lord, please don't let's not have this again. But we can take positives from that, can't we? And look to work with that.
Yeah. No. For me, I think Bristol could be their away win. Hopefully, we'll just find out and see. But hopefully, we beat Bristol.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. It's a big crowd going there again. So is
Yeah.
it 3,500? What's the total? Anyone know?
Yeah, it's about
3,500.
It's a tough place to go to be fair, isn't it?
It's one of those scary big games where are we going to see? Is all that green? Are we going to see a decent win or decent game and a win? Yeah, would be nice on top. Not lose again with such a big crowd. So, but yeah, we are languishing right at the bottom there on that away form table, having played 8, obviously won none, drawn 2, and lost 6. So it's not
I just
good.
don't know
So
what it is with
hopefully,
away games.
say again.
I just don't know what it is with away games. We struggle. It's totally different away from home park. I just don't get it, and we just can't get it in the net.
No, I mean 3,200 as Richard's always there to give the exact stats. Thanks for that, Richard.
Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, I think it is one of those where you've had different manager, you got some different players. So the only thing that people can pinpoint the sort of issue down to is the travel. But I mean, when we went to Cardiff, you can't say that. I mean, that's not exactly a long journey, is it? And that still was horrendous. So yeah, I think if we can get that win, getting a draw against Derby, like I said, that was a big thing to achieve after the really poor results. Yeah, mentally, Richard just said, and let's try and see if we can take that, because we are going into the Watford game at home on Friday, and then we're going straight into 2 away games. So, sort of puts a lot of pressure on that Friday night game. So Rooney's tenure, and how we all think specifically on that and how he's done. I know some of us have touched upon it, but I think for me, with all the fanfare that happened with Rooney, you just got to be a bit patient. And I think it definitely feels clear that the board and Rooney had a very good agreement on the plan when he was interviewed. I don't think Hallett will rush into sacking him, and I've said a few times that if we obviously do really badly, I think either Rooney will have to go, or unless he really loses the dressing room, then obviously Simon Hallett has a few things to consider there. I don't think it will happen, touch wood, but Andy, he's done all right under the circumstances, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's had a fresh slate. We said earlier on, it's a new club he's come to join. Fresh slate. He's brought his own signings in that he has never done at any other club. He didn't do it at Derby, didn't do it at Birmingham, didn't do it at DC. Well, he probably did it at DC, but in British football, then he hasn't really had a market to play with because of circumstance. But with Argyle, he's had his first summer with us. He's bought in the players he wants. He's going to have his first January window. He's probably got players lined up already to come in, and we don't know yet. He's probably got players already to ship out as well. There's Marcus's friend, Ben Wayne. He's probably going to go off somewhere. But
I'm ignoring
that.
Little joke amongst the pod from for those that haven't been on before.
I mean, there are players that are going to have to go. We've got to be realistic about that. But I think generally he's doing well, and I think Shuttleworth beside him as well is good for him, because they seem to sort of bounce off each other. Having Nance there as well, and knows the club. It's not been the best of starts, or the optimal best of starts, but we've got some points on the board. We're 18th currently, and
Yeah.
the only way is up, really, isn't it? We've just got to start, as Marcus said earlier on, winning our away games or getting some away points. So we started that at Derby.
Yeah. Go on, Marcus.
I think with our budget, I think some people were expecting miracles.
Yeah.
There's only a certain amount you can do with the budget anyway.
Yeah, and it definitely puts it into context, doesn't it? When we've said this a few times, but when you look at our top signings being Mumba and Whittaker, and sort of both scraping that £1 million, but I don't even think there's many, with the exception of one or two, but a lot of the established Championship clubs, should I say, sort of don't spend any less than that. Everything's always over, and that's why I think. It's very the key thing for me is if the players weren't playing and that was clear from body language, which it was with under Foster, then there's an issue. You can only make do with what you've got, and those injuries did massively impact us going into that last round of games. And so in reality, when you lose Sissoko, who can be frustrating at times and then absolutely brilliant, in other spells, but works well with the likes of Mumba and a couple of other players, then you lose your Edwards, as we've said, Gibson. You lose those sort of key players, and on a small squad,
We're going to struggle.
it has a big impact. Ben's just said, just putting the comments up, I couldn't see us doing any better, even if Pep was in charge. So no, I think that's fair. I think the biggest question probably on Rooney's tenure, Marcus, I think we've said it a few times, haven't we, is the plan B. He seems to get stuck in this rut of not changing it, and certainly away, and it's that's been a question mark for him, isn't it, amongst the fan base?
Yeah, because he always plays the same system. Sometimes when they work you out, like passing out from the back, go more direct. I think Grimshaw did that with the goal last time with Portsmouth, when it went more direct and it caught him out.
Yeah.
So I reckon sometimes if you mix it up, the other team is second guessing the way you're playing.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's certainly, certainly with, I think once he gets a full squad back, I mean, obviously he started with Obafemi up front against Derby, didn't he? And he's the type of him and Hardy. He's the type of player that will really sort of like catch players out. He's quite strong and physical, and compared to Hardy, I mean, Hardy's got pace, and I know last time I sort of felt I've seen more speed off the blocks from Obafemi, and people corrected me saying, Hardy's the faster of the two. But in terms of out the blocks, I would argue that Obafemi, from what I've seen, is very quick, and the turn of his feet as well. Brings a few sort of causes for concerns in opposition defences. So, Dave, anything of note for you on Rooney's tenure? Any sort of concerns, or are you just like, no, happy? Let's see what the next spell of games
I
brings.
just think, like I always say to everyone, like out in the street, if I always got a shirt on or whatever, guy Rooney, I'm like, well, you can only do what you can do, with the budget, with what the club can offer. And I think he can offer the club a lot because of obviously his name.
Yeah.
And that's as far as it goes. He can only do, like I've said, he can only do what he can do. And I'm quite happy with him. I'm quite happy with everything he's done so far.
Yeah. I think he's in a difficult position, isn't he? He's in a very difficult position where if he fails, he's a scapegoat, and he's the one, you shouldn't have employed him in the first place, so you can't win. If he does well, then he's got a point to prove. But if he doesn't do well,
another good thing with Rooney, in the presser, Gray turned around and says he's got 10 games to earn another contract because he wants to stay at Argyle, which is a good sign.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sort of, got notes with Gray, want to discuss a bit more. We come into sort of discussing some of the players in a bit more detail. But I think, look, that's on Rooney's tenure. He's going to be one of those that sort of he's gonna hold his own. He doesn't care about the press. He's just gonna get on and do his thing. He's worth a lot of money. He didn't have to choose the likes of Argyle, and I think it's an interesting one. And will it prove to be a good thing down the line? Who knows? We'll soon find out as the season unfolds. So, moving on to the festive schedule. So. As you can see there, it's 10 games, so I've gone right up to sort of Jan the 1st here. 10 games, 5 home, 5 away. How many points do we think? We'll come on and ask you all that in a second. And where do we stand? Where do we think we'll stand after this? So it's Watford on Friday, but then, like I said, it's 2 back-to-back away games with, what is a nightmare of a journey after the Friday game, all the way up to Norwich, and then back down and probably back up again to Bristol City. So, Andy, that start could be the make or break of how the rest of those run of games is going to go, would you say?
Yeah, it's important. We've got to get maximum points against Watford, to be fair, because I think we can get a point at Norwich, but Bristol City, I'm not sure about going to Ashton Gate and getting anything up there, to be fair. They're a good home side, and they're a funny side as well, because they win games away from home. Norwich, on the other hand, they've sort of, in the last couple of games, they haven't done so well. I think they've lost the last couple of games, haven't they? If I remember.
I'll have a look while you talk. I'll have a quick look.
But they, it's key to get maximum points against Watford. I mean, Watford aren't really good on the road either. I think they've got 6 points on the road this season, and that's not good. They're better at home, to be fair. I've got some people that can hurt you in the side, and I'm sure we remember that guy who's, I forget his name there. See, I don't remember. Who scored against us up there, and they're a good, strong side as well. But sorry, go on.
No, sorry, mate. I was just going to say on the Norwich, so their sort of results recently, last game at home, they lost 2-0 to Bristol City. They also lost, it's 3 on the bounce, actually. Lost to Sheffield Wednesday as well, 2-0 away. And then lost to Cardiff away, 2-1. And then they had 3 draws before that. It's not...
they're not doing too well.
Well, it's an opportunity, though. It's an opportunity for us, isn't it, to go into that one, even from a Friday to a Saturday, and try and at least get a point out of it.
Yeah, I mean, a point there would be fantastic. And I think if you get the maximum at Home Park on Friday night under the lights, we do well under the lights with 12th man.
Yeah.
If you get that point at Norwich, Bristol City, you could say, and I hate saying it, it's a free hit. We could go up there and get a point up there. There's no point to say we're not. And then we just see how we get on there. With Oxford coming after that, that's going to be a tough game. Oxford,
hard to definitely.
Swansea.
I've got. So I was just going to say I've got some stats on Watford's current run of form, which I'll pick up in a slide later. But after we follow that, we've then got obviously Oxford at home, which could be a tasty one, because they've had a good start since coming up this season, carried that momentum. It's two home games on 2 home games. Get my teeth in on the bounce with after Oxford. It's on a Tuesday night to Swansea. And then, we go away to Sheffield United, home again to Middlesbrough, and then it's coming into the Boxing Day clash, which is away to Coventry, another away Boxing Day game.
Tough stuff.
Yeah, and then soon after is it then Oxford away. So, a close flip of home and away games between us both there. And then we end on the New Year's Day with at home to City. Again, very close proximity, those two. So Marcus, what do you think in that run of games? What's your thoughts as we go into this festive season?
I do think that first things first, it's essential we get 3 points against Watford. I don't think you want to go into 2 away games with not a victory, because then you're really in trouble.
Yeah.
But I would forget about Christmas time. I'll just take every game at a time. Concentrate on Friday, then try to get a result, win against Watford, and see if we can get a point against Watford and a point against Bristol City.
Yeah.
Norwich, I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I say. If we can get 5 points in the next 3 games, I'll be happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's not a bad shout. Dave, sort of those first initial run of games there, what are you thinking?
Right, I'm gonna go for Watford definitely with the theatre of greens behind them. 12th man, 3 points. Get Watford. Norwich, I'm gonna go first away win, and then
Yeah, I
I'll
think
be
it's
happy
first
with a
shout.
draw against Bristol.
I love the confidence.
I say it every time.
I've definitely Norwich out of the two, those two back-to-back away games is the strong one, but it could surprise us. We could end up going.
But if you look back, we played better at home park against the top teams.
Yeah, it's been more scrappy against the quality of football has been good. I think it's fair to say that in some of those games, that we've seen at home park, if the opposition had better finishing, then we might have struggled. But you ride your own luck, don't you? So, I mean, I think I'd like to see a minimum of 4 points out of those first few games, and then I think with the back-to-back home games, let's just say there should be sort of 2 wins you would want to expect there. So I'm up to 10 with that, and then sort of coming into the real sort of tight Christmas fixtures. Sheffield United will be a very tough one away from home, and I wouldn't expect, to be fair, too much out of that game, but certainly Middlesbrough at home is another win potential there. So sort of 13 points coming into that. Coventry away, where are they sat in the league? That should be an option. A chance for us there. They're just above us, aren't they? That's at 17th. So a chance to get 3 maybe in that game. And I think the same with Oxford, and then Bristol City at home. So there could be 15 points plus, but certainly I think 15 points is achievable in that round of fixtures.
I'm going 14. I'm going 14 points realistically.
Yeah.
Realistically, 14 points. A couple of draws.
Sorry, Andy, go on.
Yeah, a couple of draws. Oxford away, a draw, and Coventry away, a draw. I think we'll get a draw against Middlesbrough, to be fair, as well, at home park. We'll get nothing at Sheffield United. Who's to say, Swansea, I think we could just edge that one, and Oxford, we could edge that one as well. So, I'll still sort of going for 14 points, though, I reckon, from those 10 games. Doesn't sound a lot, but 14 points is 14 points.
I think the key thing to remember, and that's what I'm basing this on, is we still don't have Edwards until the new year. We still don't have Sissoko till the new year. Tajani as well is obviously out to the new year. Don't think I'm missing anybody in terms of regular first squad members. So I think if we end up, we're 18th now. If we flutter between mid-table and that position, I wouldn't be I always like to think, we'll go on and we'll achieve better than we do in reality. That's just, sort of wishful thinking. But, I think that would be a good stance. And then, take that into the new year with those players coming back, the January transfer window, all that sort of stuff. I think there's options there, isn't there? So, right, fetch the sponge, as I've called this segment. So this is an injury update. So we were expecting, when I did these slides last night, to actually have all 3, that's why they're in there, of these players back this week. But as the press conference has alluded to, Marcus, I'll let you give the updates on this, if you're still... There you are, yeah. So Gibson, we all know, is back, but Galloway and Hazard are what?
Another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the rest are in the new year.
Yeah,
apparently, apparently Joe Edwards could be in February.
Oh, wow, even further out then. Cool.
That is
a
blow, isn't it?
But the number thing is with Joe Edwards, he is using this time to take his pro licenses as training for
I saw that.
coaching. So he's using that time to do that.
Yeah.
I think, which is, because we all know what the sort of long-term view, hopefully is with Edwards, staying at the club after he retires as a player. I think, when you look at these injury updates, Connor Hazard, Grimshaw has just been absolutely outstanding. Hazard knows he's not going to, come straight back into their bar and touch wood he doesn't an injury to Grimshaw. Respectfully, I've always been an advocate of Hazard. I think he's always had last season a lot more stick than he deserved. But there's just a big difference with Grimshaw, and that is playing out. Galloway, I think, is excellent and is solid when you need him to come on. As well, because it's hard to get in when you got Mumba playing so well and Edwards when he was. But Galloway, we always knew that Galloway was always prone to those sort of injuries, and it's come back to haunt us. But the big one here really is Gibson, and I think that's where Andy, the sort of that pleases me. And if he's fit, like I said at the start, I think he's got to come straight back in, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he has. He's got to come back in, but who do you drop? I think Marcus alluded to it earlier on about Pleguezuelo. If you're Pleguezuelo, then you don't want to be dropped. And I don't see why we can't play Pleggy, Gibbo, and Zooks together in a sort of back five, if you like.
Yeah, there's potential for that.
It seems a shame to drop Pleggy, because I think Pleggy's done really well in the last couple of games. And so is Sorinola, and to sort of drop either of those two would be a bit like a smack in the face, really.
I think what's interesting, I think you wouldn't play the fight, away. You would consider it. You wouldn't do it at home, I don't think. But the interesting one is, I think what brings a bit of a sort of a good position here for Rooney is, at home, I think you have to start with Gibson, because his ability to start the attacking play from the back is a big plus. And, that's not something Pleguezuelo really does. But what it does allow is Rooney could say, well, when we go away to Norwich, do you know what? I'm going to look at my options, and I might decide to bring Pleggy in. But I think he'll definitely get utilised, more as a sub. I would just, unless Gibson isn't 100% fit, and Dave, I don't know if you agree or not, but unless he's not 100% fit, for me, he's going to be straight back in on Friday.
Yeah, I want to see him straight back in,
because he's almost had. We don't know when he's fully come back from his injury, so he could have been doing a lot more training last week than being away. I mean, I don't study all the social channels that these players are on, but you got to think that if you're Gibson, you would have been working to get your body back into it, your fitness levels and conditioning back into it, to make sure you have got that headache that you're going to give Rooney by saying, well, I'm fit and ready, Gov, so if you want to select me, I'm there. So, so that's a good sign. So I think, sort of good news on that. But the Edwards one, Marcus, that's that you noted to February. God, that's a bit of a shame.
I think the hardest one to replace is Sissoko, because I don't think Bundu or Isaka has actually stood out. So he's the hardest one to replace, because even with Gibson, Pleggy's done a good job. Sarno's done a good job for Edwards. The only one who we haven't really filled is Sissoko's position.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, Marcus, isn't it? Because he is, sort of one of those flair players. And like I said, he's sort of Marmite at times. At times, you love him, and others you hate him because he overdoes it. But he has equally, scored some massively important goals, and he creates that excitement. It gets the crowd going, which sort of always helps overall as well, doesn't it? So moving on to a big topic as well that we pick up on a lot, but the youth options, and what we've got there. It's one of those where here's a slide on the main candidates that come up in conversation. Not deliberately leaving anybody out, but obviously we got Freddie Azaka, Caleb Roberts, and Tegan Finn, who we're all hearing such great things about, but are not yet able to see the potential in the young lad. He is only 16, but that, like Rooney said, totally agree. If you're good enough to play, then you can play. But if we start from left to right, and I'll go with you, Marcus, first on this one, because you always in our WhatsApp chats and that bring up the youth a lot. But Freddie Azaka, probably hasn't really given himself a great option for Rooney, has he, in the 2 games that he started recently?
Well, I've always thought that there's a massive gap between the under 18s to the first team. There's no link in between where we could do with an under 21s to get them used to men's football, either loan him out or something like that to a League One team.
Yeah, I
because
think
obviously it doesn't look big enough for men's football. Like Caleb Roberts looks bigger than him.
Yeah. He's sort of he just couldn't. Kesler Hayden had him, sort of, sussed to a T, didn't he? In the Preston game, and sort of Isaka sort of wasn't really able to get past him, and I was seeing positions that he'd left open that he could have gone into, and it's a shame really, because I felt when he came on as a sub, last season in spells, he brought that spark, But I mean, Andy, what do you think with Isaka?
I think he's got pace and he's got passion, which is good. And we saw that passion at QPR, sadly, when he went in for that tackle and he got sent off, because it was a bit bit rash. But he's got that passion. He got us back into the game against Preston. No way about it. That shot that was fired in from Randall, parried out to Saka, who just put the ball in the net, and that started us. That got 12th man on the go again. So he was alert to that. He was in the right area at the right time. I think, like Marcus said, he needs to beef up a little bit and maybe go out somewhere on loan, just to get game time, because he's not getting regular game time.
No, I do wonder how much that red card at Gia, and it was unfortunate, but and if he'd have flicked that ball, he was straight on in goal. There was no defender catching him. But I was thinking recently, I did wonder whether or not that affected him a little bit. Because suddenly you get a chance in the squad, and then you go and kill it by getting a 3-game ban. And if I was a player, I'd be spitting feathers, with myself, even if it wasn't so deliberate as and obvious as, say, the likes of Sissoko's was. So as a manager,
it's inexperience, wasn't it? Really, it's inexperience and bit naivety. He wanted to get that ball, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Caleb Roberts, we saw spells when, I remember, I forget the game because I'm rubbish with my memory, guys, but the game where him and Zaka came on last season under Foster, and, that sort of seemed to ignite that game. I mean, they were substitutes, and the games weren't brilliant at that time, so it just needed a bit of spark from someone. But sort of he had that injury as well, kept him out for a bit, and I think. For me, I'd like to see more of him and see what he's got to bring to the table. Dave, what's your thoughts on Roberts?
Yeah, I think if he was given more game time, I think he could be. Yeah, he looks all right. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I think Marcus, your thoughts on Roberts?
I think he's good. Like what Carl said the other day, he was the best player the other day, and he's the one who got left out. So he must be thinking, what the hell have I done wrong here?
Yeah, sort of. And we don't know what goes on in training. So just to add to that, there's always that situation. We don't know what goes on in training, and that can always, there can be attitude issues, all that sort of stuff going on there.
But he's another one that needs to be loaned out.
Yeah, potentially. If we're not gonna use him, then absolutely agree. Coming on then to the talk of the town, or certainly for Rooney, Tegan Finn, sort of took that injury when they went away for the summer training camp, but Rooney kept him out there, and I know someone who is good friends of the family, and he proper nurtured and looked after him out there. He wanted him to experience that, and we keep hearing a lot about him, Andy, don't we? And he's obviously had a couple of appearances, but they've been in games where the games were lost, and he didn't really get a chance to do anything. So do you think we'll see him soon?
I think we will. You've got to give him experience, and we just going back to Isaka and Roberts, if you remember, they were both sort of given chances early on in the season, right? And one of them blew it by a reckless challenge, and one of them got injured. So that's not through no fault of their own. Isaka didn't get back into the side because of the 3-match suspension. Roberts was out for quite a substantial time as well. So Finn, on the other hand, I think he could have a bright future. I love his halo, by the way. he's got the halo.
I positioned him perfectly on the background graphic there.
I think, you know, and I know we're going to say this time and time again about Rooney starting that sort of age. I mean, Rooney's a different gravy. He played for a lot better club, to be fair, in Everton. Their academy was great. Finn, I mean, you got to give him a chance. If Rooney sees something in his young players, like he did with Saka, like he did with Roberts, and starting them early on in the season, to give him a chance, he must believe in young players and giving them an opportunity. So why not give Finn an opportunity? And yeah, there's nothing to lose for it. You know, why not bring him on for the last quarter of an hour against Watford? Say, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's scoring goals, you know, regular. He scored, was it 2, Marcus, again, you know, on that day that we played, was it Leeds on the Saturday? I'm trying to remember now. But, you know, so he can clearly see the goal. You know, he is an attacker in his profile. So it's almost like when we're looking at, and we have said this a few times, haven't we, Marcus? So like, you know, with Whittaker and in his situation, you know, different sort of positions slightly, but what's the issue with using and taking a bit of a punt and bringing someone like Finn on? If he can run at players and take the ball forward and can find the target, well, happy days.
I don't see the point in mentioning someone's name all the time, not playing them. All that's doing is other clubs, bigger clubs, going to think, "Oh, we'll take a look down there, have a look at him." So we'll end up virtually, before he signed a good contract, other teams coming down. You didn't mention somebody, this is playing them and offering them contracts.
Yeah.
Because I don't get that at all.
No, I know it's we have said, how much is it going to affect him mentally? But you know, I think that with the worry, and it's something actually that we should point out, is coming into this sort of hectic schedule now. That's always that festive period. You know, there is a risk of more injuries coming. You know, the likes of Mumba, who's played, you know, in every single game a lot of minutes. Whittaker, who's played the most minutes, but obviously missed the Leeds game, you know, in favour of that Preston match, I think it was, but Portsmouth, sorry. But no, was it? Yeah, he was dropped in Leeds, wasn't he, on the Whittaker? Yeah. So, but he's played more minutes than Mumba, who's played in every single game. So it's like, at the end of the day, these players, their fitness and conditioning is clearly brilliant, but it's going to be testing. And we don't know. We might pick up a few more injuries. Touch wood, we don't. And sorry if
fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, the potential there, and obviously, clearly, with what we're doing with the youth development and the infrastructure there, that, you know, people, moan about all that, but it is going to start to bring, you know, a lot of talent through. So we'll come on to some player profiles. I've done a specific one here on Mumba because it sort of did. I know I'm not necessarily calling this for the whole pod, but, you know, he was my player of the season so far. You can see there he hasn't scored any goals sadly yet, but, you know, only 1 assist, but he started in 13 and played in all 15 matches in some form, 1170 minutes, like I said, just pipped by Whittaker, I think it's on 1400 or something like that. You know, decent average rating considering when you think of the squad and the games recently, you know, stats courtesy of FOTMob. But yeah, for me, I think he's been the most improved player from last season. He came in with a big price tag. You know, it sort of wasn't really after that first game against Huddersfield, that goal. It didn't seem to really pan out for him. But I've been really impressed with me. Slipping over less, but he's still slipping over. So someone should be the Barley Mumba stud sponsor. But been totally impressed, Andy, with his conditioning. And I know, you know, sort of we never sort of always agreed on him, but you know, when you look at all the players, Edwards would have been up there, I think, for all of us if it wasn't for the injury. But Mumba's, you know, I think the shining light so far.
And Randall. And Randall would be up there as well with them.
Yeah, he would do. Yeah, we'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, I mean,
there's absolutely no question of his effort. His effort is, impeccable. And he'll always try his hardest, very hardest. He does get caught out ever so often in that left back position where the ball goes over the top and he's chasing back. But in saying that, he has improved in the last sort of 2 or 3 games, maybe. He's staying on his feet a bit longer, making those runs that we know that Mumba can make. I think there was one goal he scored. I forget who he played now. It might have been. It was definitely at home park, but he just sort of raced. It might have been the Huddersfield game when he sort of ran through half the sort of team from the
outside the box and scored. It was
So yeah, he has got it. He's got it there. He's a good player. Is he playing in position? And Richard's sort of saying you move Bally to the left wing. That's not a bad shout actually. Who you gonna have at the sort of left back position? Are you gonna have sort of Ogbeta or whoever on the other side? You know what I mean? But yeah, he's improved. He has improved, and he's bringing stuff to the game now. And he's just got to get back and challenge back when the ball goes over the top, and that's where he's sort of lacking at the minute. But other than that, he's been immense. 100% for running around and playing.
He's sort of he is a player, Dave, that does sort of get into those positions, and tries to sort of get the game going. He was getting mega frustrated. I'm trying to think. I don't know if it was it. No, I'm trying to think of what game it was now, but I could see he was clearly getting visibly frustrated by not getting the ball, that's what. When we look at all our players, no one is like standing out in terms of like Whittaker was last year. If we take that example, but he's certainly a player that is sort of starting to show. And this, to make this clear again, that £1 million valuation of him is not big against the rest of the league, but he's certainly starting to surely show his worth for that, Dave.
For me, he's starting to shine a little bit.
Yeah,
he's growing on me. Like when I rewind 5 matches ago, I was like, "Oh, Mumba, he's not the same." But now he's starting to. He is. Yeah, I'm impressed with him.
Yeah, I think it was the Preston game. It was the game where we just struggled to get the ball out of our own. That was it, because Preston played the high press, got the early goals, didn't they? And we were just like, "Oh, where do I put the ball?" And in Grimshaw, and then like Barley's like on the left, going like, "Give me the ball, I'm open here." So I think obviously you said Randall, stood out. I think Grimshaw, if you can look at the goals conceded, you can't blame him all for that. But Marcus, I think Grimshaw has been, next to Zooks, has been one of the top signings, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, I think Grimshaw. Yeah, he's been brilliant. Zooks has been the biggest surprise. He's never played in England before. That was a good signing. But Grimshaw, I think he's even better on the ball than Cooper.
Yeah, I said that as well the other day, didn't I? And I think it's, people might think, well, what you want about, but it's like, you just, when you study them so much, you do feel
confident.
Yeah, like the pass backs and the amount of like the way he lets a player come onto him, and he's just so confident in knowing that he can get rid of the ball. I think it's that for what we've paid for him after losing Cooper, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, so am I.
Definitely happy with that. So I have got a squad slide. So to that recent photo that they finally got round to taking, care of the Plymouth Argyle website. But so opening it out to the table, we've said Zooks has come in really well. We've had a better, just my thoughts, but it's not really shown much. Poulsen, I know he's saying he's had a couple of injuries, and and he's got more to give and show there. Tijani, we never really got to see anything, but the signs that we did see, I would say, didn't overly impress me from him. I think Obafemi's done all right, coming in as well on loan. JB, again, sort of, he can have a really good game, an average game, and then the odd one where it's not so great. But all those signings, Andy, haven't been too bad overall, have they?
I can't sort of think of one which I would say has been a duff. Normally, you get the odd duff signing down the years, don't you? But I can't think of anyone who's been a duff signing. To be fair, Obafemi could do a bit more for me. Really, I think if you stick Obafemi in the on the left, where just in front of Mumba maybe, and making those runs into the box and crossing the ball into the box, he's going to be a good player for us. It could be the Azaz we're missing, that sort of feed in the front man sort of thing.
Well, the one player, Andy, that probably, if I sort of pick up for you, that has a question mark is Al Haj.
Yeah, Al Haj is a funny one, isn't he? Again, is he used to the pace of the English game? I don't know that he is. He's come
Or
over
is it our style? Because since the injuries, we've lost the creative flow of the football that we were playing at home.
He played well in this first game, and was it Luton? Got the goal, yeah. So he knows where the back of the net is, and we thought, oh yes, it's brilliant. What a player he is. And then the second game, he didn't play too badly. Then it just went Pete Tong. He's not performed to the expectation that the fans certainly had. And there might be a player in there somewhere. But is he fitting in the right side? Is his style of football the same? I don't know. I don't know what sort of style he was playing out in Sweden. It was Sweden, wasn't it?
No, Denmark.
Yeah. Denmark, sorry, yeah, thank you, Marcus.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't know, so I'm just nodding away until someone else corrects anybody. Yeah. So I think it's interesting, isn't it? I think one player, just sort of looking at my notes and that Soranola is another one that we touched upon earlier, but he's certainly come in and done well, and dug in deep, and taking his opportunity, recently, as we said earlier, like Pleggy. I think Callum Wright, has definitely sort of spiced things up, and sometimes when you're down in the dumps with your away performances and your confidence is gone, that Edwards that would be on the pitch that would try and get the players going. You're looking for that next person. We mentioned Randall, we'll come on to him in a minute, with and getting the captain's armband, against Derby, getting the goal. You do need those players, and Callum Wright was definitely doing that recently, and he can put in a hell of a cross. He's got the blonde flowing locks, but he's definitely seems like he's up for it when he comes on. And you've been a big advocate, Andy, of him, haven't you, as well?
It just reminds me of me in my heyday, when I was playing football.
Yeah, well, I've got the blonde hair, it's just not long.
No, I've got one or two people that I go to football with, and I hope they'll watch this later on and they know who they're talking about. I won't mention them by name, but we're always going to go about Callum Wright, and I just think he just brings something different, doesn't he? He's not that sort of, he's not the most flamboyant player, but he can put a cross in. We saw that the whole game last game of last season. We saw it at Port Vale when we got promoted. He put that ball across the box for Edwards to tap in for the second goal. He's got that in his locker. I sort of likened him a little bit when him and Danny Mayer were in the same side. I just thought they were just brilliant together because they're both sort of attacking and skillful players. It's a bit difficult for him in Championship, to be fair. He stepped up from Cheltenham Town to Argyle, obviously a bigger club. Gone up to the Championship, maybe sort of adjusting to the Championship pace and stuff. But he'll always sort of put performance in for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Dave, out of the squad, conscious, we're over an hour now, but who's a couple of standout sort of players for you, from the squad? Or sorry, anyone else you'd want to pick out from the squad? Sorry, that stands out for you.
Gray.
Yeah, and for what reason?
I just don't know. I think he could bring something good, but I just think Rooney needs to start bringing him on and giving him some game time. I don't know. There's something with it from what I've watched. I don't know. There could be something magical there.
He's definitely, you can't deny that, his 1 in 3 sort of goals to game ratio that, was always talked about. And, he's sort of, against, was it Portsmouth? Did he start? He looked a little bit heavy with a touch at times. And, is he carrying something? I know he did the press conference interview, I think, Marcus, didn't he? Was he, according to the video that's on Argyle TV? But yeah, he's big, isn't he? I think if he can get into the rhythm of games, and like Marcus said, Rooney said on that, I think it's like he's got those 10 games really before his renewal or trigger in his contract is up for renew. And I hope he does come good, because I think he can ruffle a few defences.
Yeah, there is a player there because he said he still got it. He just hadn't had many games to get his match fitness up.
Yeah.
Because in the summer he was just training with normal fitness guides.
It's not the same, is it?
It's not the same, is it? So you got to give players like better than that lot game time.
Yeah, no, agree. It's not. It's all those sort of situations, isn't it? Coming in the same for Obafemi, who I think has gotten better and better with each game that he's come in with. Marcus, anybody else that stands out for you, sort of before I move on, then to out the squad that you've marked as impressed.
For the lack of game time, I've been quite impressed how Saranoda's improving.
Yeah.
For someone that was in the wilderness, suddenly got thrust into it. I've been quite impressed with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's always had that passion and energy about him as well, didn't he? Last season, and we got him on a free. He came from Swansea, didn't he? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And it's always one of those when a player goes on free that club doesn't just let a player go like that for no reason. But again, the right club, the right place, it can help. I've avoided for this episode sort of picking up on Whittaker specifically because we've talked about him quite a bit in terms of the concerns and stuff like that. So I put a slide in and I took it out. Andy would have seen it, but I took it out in the final edit because I thought, do you know what? It's this next round of games is going to be big for him because of that January transfer window, and I'd like to sort of pick up on him, hopefully, either after Friday night when we do this again on Sunday, evening, that we start to see a bit more with Whittaker positively. So
see some Whittaker magic again.
Yeah, exactly. So Friday night, as we sort of start to wrap things up, but before I do that, actually, I want to play this little video. So I said that we're going to try and bring some different bits of content to it. The sort of slide deck is one of those, and that will improve over time. But we also want to show some clippings of goals where we can, so we can relive the moments if they're rare, certainly are away from home. Then we can take those snippets out, and we will hopefully have some clips from Dave with their vlog at the games, as well as potentially even from Harvey, but also we'll share it elsewhere. So we have got, and hopefully this will play. So yeah, there we go. So hopefully that played okay for everybody. You never know with the internet, but it's good. Look, it was a brilliant free kick. It took a wicked deflection, but the pace and power that Adam Randall hits with those balls, a deflection can take it anywhere. It could have been going in anyway, but that was a massive point after going down or going behind again away from home so early on. That seemed to have, before Derby, it killed the team off, but they fought back for that point. So he was captain in that game, and he wasn't he? And so we go to the Watford game on Friday night. I expect he will start again. And don't forget, he also had, was it 2 games out of his knock?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Before that one. So Randall's done brilliant this year, and I think we've always said he's the one that's probably going to need to take the armband and take the sort of captaincy role by the scruff of the neck and get bring that energy that Edwards does and that organisation into the squad. We saw some really good signs of that against Derby, so hopefully he brings that to the Watford game on Friday.
Yeah, what's good about Rands is that he's a Plymouth lad. He's Plymouth through and through. I should say Argyle, shouldn't I? If you're an Argyle fan, but yeah, he's Argyle through and through. He's a leader. He has that leadership quality. He can lead. So having him and Gibson in the side as leaders, so you've got player at the back and your player up sort of midfield as leaders. That's going to sort of put us in good stead because they're all going to be geeing each other up. And I think he gets that from Joe Edwards, certainly. He sees Edwards going to the crowd and geeing them all up sort of thing. I think he does the same. So, yeah, he's a key player to have in your side, and I think he will be a good captain in the future. Whether he can sustain that through the season is another thing. I think Gibson is a better captain, maybe, because he is a good leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, certainly got a bright future. Hopefully for us,
Yeah, so absolutely. So coming into the Watford game, so obviously off the back of the last 5 games, obviously for us as Argyle fans, we know what those results have been. But for Watford, they've sort of taken a couple of defeats there and a win and a couple of draws. Their away form, isn't fantastic. And I think that's that's the. So hang on, have I copied and pasted the same
You
thing?
copied
now?
and pasted. Yeah, I was going to
Yeah,
say
I
they
have.
got identical record to us.
This is the problem, as you know, Andy. I was doing this pretty late last night.
Yes.
What? Well, I mean, look. I mean, we played the same teams, the same score lines. It's
Yeah,
going to be an interesting
exactly
one.
the same.
Yeah. So I do apologise for that. That teaches me not checking. I did share this slide deck with everybody, but clearly no one else spotted it either. No, that's all on me. But yeah, I think going into, we know their away record is poor, and I'll try and pull it up while I speak, but. I think that they've got no manager, so he's off, in the sort of stands, isn't he, for this game? And that's got to be an advantage, as well as playing at home, as well as playing at under the lights, as we said before. So, sort of Dave, what do you reckon we can get out of this game? Is it going to be a pretty tight game? Is it going to be sort of one goal wins it, or do you think Argyle could take this one by the ball by the horns and get a comfortable win?
I've got to go with my green blood. I think we're going to do really well attacking football, and we're going to get 3 points, and we're going to see some goals. And if I'm wrong, you're all going to hate me.
Excellent. So, score prediction on this one then. Where do you think that's going to end up?
Do you know what? 3-2.
Oh wow, another. I mean, I don't mind a goal thriller. As long as we win it. Definitely no more nervous, tense.
No,
late
I would
games.
like to see a clean sheet. I'm going to go 2-0 Argyle.
So you're changing your scoreline.
Yeah, 2-0 Argyle.
It's just too indecisive, Dave. Clearly, Marcus. So just pulling up the correct stats, as I pasted the wrong image and I did clip it. But yeah, so their recent results. So Oxford, they won 1-0 at home. I think that was a game that was on Sky. I caught some of that. Swansea away, they lost that game. They won away though to Wednesday 6-2 in that thriller of a game there. One at home, and then they lost a couple away to Leeds and Luton. So their away form is the concern. Their home form is pretty solid. So what do you think, Marcus?
Wow. I'm open for 3-1. Whittaker score a hat trick.
Yeah.
And everything's all hunky dory. But this is the weird thing is though, 2 teams that are playing each other, both managers over this international break went on holiday together. Never heard of that one before, have you?
No.
No, Tom Cleverley. I'm going to switch back to this slide because of those stats being wrong. But Tom Cleverley, isn't it? Obviously, equally served at Man United when Rooney did. So good, clearly good friends. But it's when it comes to it, it's all about getting the result, isn't it? So
I would like to see Whittaker on the score sheet because he plays on confidence.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are you thinking? What do you think the scoreline will be then, Marcus?
I reckon 3-1 to us.
Oh yeah, okay.
Good chat.
Yeah, I'm sort of still thinking through as I hear everybody's thoughts. Obviously, Richard's, sort of pit down there. We haven't beat Watford since 1991 or 97. It's the font that's getting that wrong. So, so there's a lot, fond memories of that with F1 and stuff. But anyway, so coming into this one, and Andy, it's, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking Argyle going to win 2-1. Okay. I think Watford will score first because they all people always score first against us. I'm just hoping that we don't get a repeat of their result. Was that 6-2 result away from home? Sheffield Wednesday. If they go 1 or 2 goals up, I can see that happening because they're a strong, powerful side. They're not the most physical side, but they're a really skillful side on their day. And so that, I mean, they proved the point at Sheffield Wednesday, didn't they? So
Yeah.
if you know, but I'm going to say 2-1 to Argyle, and I'm going to say that goal scorers Adam Rando from a free kick, and then we're going to get a pen, and I think that Obafemi is going to take the pen and score the pen. There you go.
Yeah, gotcha. Marcus, I did mute you, which is why you were quiet, and Dave and Andy might have noticed that, because you either got the TV on in the background or in another room, and I can just hear this muffling sound going on.
He's got Emmerdale on in the background.
Emmerdale, yeah.
Didn't internationals played last night? Because I know Sooks and Paulson played last night, but I'm sure Watford had a few players playing.
That's an interesting point, because obviously a couple of the players are just coming back late, aren't they? We were talking about that in the chat earlier. Do you know who it was that was mentioned that are due back late, Marcus?
Was it Paulson and
I know
Zooks?
Paulson and Sooks. They played last night.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah, of course, because he was playing for. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah,
Iceland and Hungary.
I can't answer that on the on Watford's side. They might have a few more that are in that situation. If they do, then good, because that always helps. Blaz or Blaze, on his YouTube channel, who always joins us and sometimes comes in as well. He's going for 2-0. So. Yes. Did you give your scoreline, Andy? What did you say again?
I did 2-1, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go 2-0, because I really want us to try and maintain a run of clean sheets at home, and obviously after the Portsmouth result, I do think it will be a tough game. I do worry if Argyle are caught napping, from the start, that Watford could find that finishing prowess that they have at home. Suddenly their away form at some stage you'd expect might turn on. Let's hope it's not Friday. But yeah, I'm gonna go 2-0. I'm not sure on the goal scorers. Who would I like to score? I'd like to see Whittaker get back on the score sheet if he has a really good game. But I think, just trying to think who he might start with up front in that match. So, but I'm just going to stick with the 2-0 for that match. So we shall see.
Zooks didn't play. Just information, Mike. Zooks didn't feature for Hungary last night. But Paulson did. Paulson played for Iceland against Wales, and they lost 4-1.
Yeah.
So whether he'll play on Saturday is another story. I don't think he will, to be fair. Friday night, I don't think he will, to be fair.
No, fair enough. The formatting, I shall fix that, because it wasn't that when I exported it earlier. So the documentary at the end, the wrapping of that text. But so just before I touch up on this, so we're going to close off now. Been on for about an hour and 20. Thank those that have joined us, those Richard that have stuck with us, Blaz, and a couple of others that have come and gone, others that haven't commented that have been watching. Look, we predominantly do this on, or we're doing this a lot on TikTok. We've decided to bring it across to Facebook and YouTube. That's going to take some building up to get to where we want it to be. We love talking about Argyle. Carl, who's not with us, who's also another founding member, as we would call it, of the Block 9 podcast. He will be back with us on Sunday. We'll sort of try again just to bring you something a bit different through these social platforms. So if you can like it, share and subscribe, at the Block 9 podcast on YouTube, exactly the same with the page on Facebook. We also have the TikTok channels as well. You've got the Evans boys, Dave and Edward, who do their vlogs after each game as well, and Harvey England, who I'm sure we'll have in for the odd game when he's not working as well. He goes to every away game pretty much, so it's good to get some fan insight.
And his vlogs are quite good as well. He is cracking.
It's brilliant. For those that don't, pulling videos and stuff together, is not an easy thing, and it can be quite time consuming. So for all those, including yourself, Dave, that do that, and for those that like to watch it, it's much appreciated. So, going to sort of wrap up with that documentary. God, has that caused a bit of a stir since the announcement, and the moans and groans about the club not telling us about it and explaining what it's about, and we're always hearing third hand what's going on. look, this would have been, and I think I even brought it up when we were in the pre-season discussing Rooney's appointment. The PR and the marketing potential around Rooney cannot be underestimated. When the club are looking for those income and revenue streams, to help towards the budget. And I keep reminding people, the club, are not making profit at the moment every year. So they've got a lot of assets, but they're not making profit. So they've got to look at all these avenues. And Hallett is building a strong foundation for the club, but some people just don't like that, and they want all the money, thrown into the first team squad. That is called risk, and that could very much go Pete Tong. And I'll only refer back to the poor sort of management and ownership of the club back in the last championship days that caused us to, nearly literally go out of business. So the documentary has going to give the club some financial revenue streams. That was confirmed in a press conference today. There are going to be cameras everywhere. There'll be limitations from what they said on match days, but the players are so used to now, with all the clubs doing all their social content, cameras being here, there, and everywhere. So, I don't, Marcus, did they announce when we might see some episodes, or is this very much end of the season it will start to come out?
I would say end of the season.
Yeah, it makes sense, really, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't want to give anything away. It'd be a bit like, the I think the Welcome to Wrexham's slightly different, but then you've also got the Formula One version documentary equivalent. Always comes out at the end of the season. So yeah, I think it's an exciting opportunity. I mean, Andy, are you too fussed about the uproar this has caused, or just let them get on with it and see what happens?
Well, you touched on the last time we were in the championship and how we nearly went out of business, right? I remember that time when the bottom three it was League 3 then, because it was League 3, League 2, League 1, and then the Premiership. I forget it wasn't championship anyway. The bottom three were Argyle, then it was Torquay United, and then it was Exeter above. So all three Devon clubs were down there. So that's back in the dark days when we nearly went out of business, right? Our fortunes have turned since then, right? We've had that rise up through the leagues again, and suddenly Argyle are in the spotlight or under the microscope because of Wayne Rooney, because of who Wayne Rooney is. Now, this could bring in potential suitors, if you like, to sort of take the club on further with investment and stuff like that. So we just don't know how this is going to pan out. If this documentary goes out as it could be on Netflix or Disney Plus, whatever Disney channel it is, it's going to go out to a lot of people in America. It's going to go to worldwide. People are going to see Plymouth Argyle worldwide, and so that's going to get us even more out there in the sort of in the spotlight. So you don't know what spin-offs are going to get from that. Whether people are going to suddenly take an interest in Argyle like they did in Wrexham. Well, I didn't particularly sort of take any interest in Wrexham, but a lot of people did. I watched the documentary on Netflix, I think it was. Yeah. And suddenly Wrexham are, rising up through the leagues again with big investment. So that could work out for our favour at Home Park if someone sees that, on Plymouth Argyle, Wayne Rooney, the manager, particularly the Americans, because the Americans are like cuckoo about it, aren't they? Now, Wayne Rooney, icon, football.
Yeah, well, obviously they know him over there, don't they? So there is that angle.
They'll want a part of that.
Yeah, I think I don't have any issues. Richard, as well as himself, is saying, he thinks it's a fantastic idea, and this is the day, the sort of modern day that we live in now. I mean, I watch a huge amount of documentaries. I'm massive fans of Discovery Channel and History Channel, and from Gold Rush to Deadliest Catch to all sorts on there, car building shows. Just people love to see this content. So sort of real life situations.
And that's going to appeal to all sports fans. Yeah. Well, not so much sports fans, but football fans. Up and down the country. Who else was interested in Wrexham? A lot of people have no connection at all with Wrexham suddenly watching a football themed program documentary. So that could happen for us, and people will start looking at Argyle a bit more now. And it's just the spin-offs could be massive for us.
Yeah, Dave,
it's a masterstroke.
How did it's another sort of opportunity. Like I said, it's taking advantage of Wayne Rooney, the PR machine, and
Yeah.
the club would be absolutely mad to not try and maximise that without it distracting too much. So I can understand people, Dave, for being a bit concerned about it and all this sort of stuff. I mean, even the breakfast show, sort of moaning about that because that costs a few quid to set up and have the people come in and pay them to do that, but the idea behind that, and unless someone at Argyle can correct me, but the Argyle TV channel, it's all about gaining subscriptions for that. So the more content you can bring to people, the more subscribers you're going to get on there. And, that has been a brilliant thing for clubs, and Argyle have taken that in on board. A lot of others, use a third party provider for that. So it's all about just doing some different things. And people have to remember, without these, revenue streams, to come in, they can't just, rely on ticket sales and stuff like that. So, it's important that the club do explore these options. But Dave, what does Edward think to this documentary? I think as a young kid, it's going to be like,
they're
it's going to be crazy.
they're talking about it in school. Brilliant. Rooney's going to be on telly. Argyle. So I think it's massive for the club. I think if we can get some attention from the Netflix series,
Yeah.
it's brilliant for the club, and hopefully we can get an investment from it. And it's Rooney, and it's talking about Plymouth Argyle. It's getting us out there, getting our name around. I think it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, no, I think so. So, look, I'm going to end it there. I don't know what I've got as the last slide. Your voice. So, yeah, look, sort of alluded to this. One of the different challenges with doing this show through this method is it's not so easy to bring people in as it is when we've done the ones on TikToks. But as this grow, as people want to sort of join in, we will invite some people, to do that. Like Dave, who's joined us on recent ones, and is in with us tonight. Sort of Carl will be back on Sunday to take your spot back, Dave. But we'll definitely like to bring people in because we're all busy and we always can't make every single show. But look, we want to take some comments, get some more flow. And Richard, that's been in with us tonight, and Blaz, Ben earlier. So look, we're starting this off again at a different angle, like we said. But yeah, so we will do that. But look, I think I'm going to end it there. Sort of a couple of days, we'll get to see the game. Will it be a cold, frosty evening at home park, or will the temperatures pick up a bit? Let's see. But yeah, fingers crossed for a 3 points, much needed as we go into those 2 away games. But look, Dave, I know Edward had to shoot off early to bed because it is a school night, but appreciate you coming in as always. Marcus, who's looked so chilled all throughout the session there, laid back.
He's dreaming of Ben Wayne
on his chair. Marcus, pleasure as always, and Andy likewise. Hopefully that's been a nice little exposure into what the Block 9 is all about. So if Richard was in the background, I'd get him to end on Green Army, so I'll do that for him. But other than that, thank you for everybody that's joined us tonight. And